So this is my problem of the day. It's something I've set my Key Stage 4 class today. It's entitled Y24 and it's from the Enrich website. I'll put the link to this problem in the description below. So this is an example of what's called a low threshold, high ceiling activity, which basically low threshold means anyone should be able to access it if they have a basic level of knowledge. And it ramps up to a high ceiling. You can make it more difficult and it gets more difficult as the work goes on. So what we do, we work through A, B, C, D, question A, B, C and D, and we end up with a final challenge. And the idea behind this is A, B, C and D starts making you think about patterns and problems in this context. And can you use algebra to prove some of this? So for example, question A starts, if you pick a number and multiply the numbers either side of it and do that several times with different numbers, can you spot anything interesting? Can you spot a pattern in the answers? So for example, here if you choose 7, if you work out 6 multiplied by 8 and then pick say 5 and do 4 times 6, pick 10, do 9 times 11, are you starting to notice something interesting about the answers? If we pick part B, write down 3 consecutive numbers, none of which is a multiple of 3. Can you do it? If you can't, explain why. So these build up to a final challenge. Take any prime number greater than 3, square it and subtract 1. Repeat several times. Do you notice anything interesting? Convince yourself it always happens. So when we want to convince people in mathematics that something always happens, we try to generalise the problem using algebra. So eventually this will you can start off doing proofs by exhaustion, you can just carry on doing example after example to show that something might work, but that doesn't prove it always happens, it just proves it happens in the cases you've picked. So you'd need to change, you'd do the numerical examples and you'd move on to algebra to try and prove to yourself or to other people it always happens. Anyway, that's my problem of the day to some Key Stage 4 children today. If you have time and you're twiddling your thumbs during enforced isolation, then I hope you give it a go.